And welcome back. We are getting ready, or we are ready to review the next or most recent tough episode. Wow, that was a horrible blunder. um,
It happens.
Episode 6, Lee Hammond and Kurt Hollabaugh. Kurt Hollabaugh pulling out a fucking guillotine out of his ass, bro. Like I'm impressed. He pulled it out. Don't get me wrong. But
Yeah.
holy shit.
It was a very strange fight. Like Lee Hammond in it, like for some reason I got the feeling like he came off as one of those people who's like, I don't really want to hurt you. Like I'm gonna not be too aggressive about this. Like some of the things he was doing was just like really weird. And at one point, well, at the end of the first round.
Wait, you're saying he wasn't trying to damage him? Because what were all those shots that he was doing from up top?
It could have been way worse. I feel like he wasn't as aggressive as he should have been, and I don't know, like I got this weird vibe, like he was just kind of like, "Oh, am I supposed to keep hitting him? Oh, okay." Like it came up weird, especially like you notice it at the very end of the first round. He just kind of held him, and he was like gonna let him go, but there was 10 seconds left, so he just kind of
like 10 seconds left in the first round.
yeah.
Because he wasn't sure whether or not he should empty the gas tank or to wait because he knows he has another round coming.
I didn't get that feeling at all. I didn't feel that. I felt like even his face, like when he looked up, he was just like, "What?" It was super weird. Like I got this weird like I don't know. That's probably just me, but it just felt like he was like almost like in this mode where he was like, "I don't really want to hurt him, but we'll just keep doing what we're doing." There was like a very, I don't know, like non-aggressive way to the way he was fighting. Like, of course, he was winning, he was dominating the 2 rounds, but it just felt like he was just kind of not being as like nasty with everything as he could have been.
I thought he was tired right there. That O face that he had, I think he was sucking for air. Like when you look at him and his recovery, like he was last to get off the ground, right? Like that's a lot of control time. Like even if he is a big guy, think about the weight cut that he has to make, right? For 155. Even Dana was like, "Damn, it's a big kid, right?" He's sick. Was he 6 foot something?
That I do not remember.
Like he was a little bit taller than the cage, right? So I would take some of that into account.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Could just be me then. I just got this weird sense of like totally like just all right, we're just gonna grind this out. I don't need to do too much to hurt you.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, because he kept clipping him with elbows and there was a right where he was coming to like face him, and then he just saw a right and he landed on the chin, and it was a serious shot. It was, I think he was doing a good amount of damage. Kurt Hollabaugh was wearing damage and he was winning the round. The scared look, like maybe like lost look that he had, maybe that's just because he's only 5-0.
I don't know. I mean? It was the ground and pound though. That was like where he was just. It seemed like he was so hesitant to just go full force.
When you
even the elbows, like in the ground and pound, like Connor was calling for it. He was just like, hit him, elbow, and then he was just like, oh yeah, I could do that. Like it just felt really weird. Like
when you are controlling someone. When you start to go for a significant amount of strikes in a row, you leave space open. When you leave that space open, you allow for things like Kurt Hollabaugh, what he did in the second, right? That was because Lee Hammond decided to drop into what I would, and this is a kind of an ill-advised heel hook attempt, right? Couldn't capture the knee line, right? So he tries to push like the leg away. Kurt Hollabaugh comes around with his right leg, I believe, right? Comes around with his right leg, just looks, and you can see like there's a moment where his body, like just everything changes. because he just sees he sees the neck and he's like, oh shit, let me throw it underneath. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was fucking surprised. I when I saw it, I was like, that's crazy tight, because it, like, you can see Lee like kind of like he's like grimacing. Like at first he kind of had it like on the side in a weird way, and then he started to put like a knee on belly kind of pressure, and ooh, gets the tap, gets the win. Look,
Yeah, Connor was pissed.
and he was pissed at, for sure, like the situation. He didn't show it to Kurt. He congratulated him. He even mentioned that his coaches think that Kurt Hollabaugh is like a serious contender for the number one, like for being the best 55er, right? And that he might win the entire thing. I still have reservations about Kurt Hollabaugh. I think we all do, because of how easily Lee Hammond was kind of toying with him. Honestly, like, if we're saying that he's not, and again, I'm not saying he didn't do damage. I know you're saying he didn't do damage. I think he did damage, but
damage. I'm saying he seemed hesitant to continue the damage. And I don't know, like,
I think he got tired. I think his adrenaline dumped like halfway through.
It could have been that, but it just felt like he just kind of forgot that he could just keep punching him a few times, especially at the end of the first round. Because why is he just letting up? And then all of a sudden he like looks around and he's like, oh yeah,
he's waiting for the end of the bell. I mean, look, he had like a figure four, or he had like one hook in or something like that. He was on the back, right? When you have a figure four on someone, that takes energy from you as well to keep that on, right? Even though Kurt kind of like, he dropped to a knee almost like instantly once it happened, it still requires some level of energy to be spent to get to that position and to hold that position, especially to get someone like Kurt down. But
yeah, I don't know. It just felt super weird, and just, I don't know. There was something weird about watching it. And then when the finish happened, I was just like, all right then.
I that's crazy. I enjoyed every second of it. It was a great grappling. It was more of a scramble. It was more of a huge scramble, right? And Lee Hammond goes for, I believe, so he goes for the heel hook, and then he tries to go for like a single, or like go for the back, and all Kurt does is just a throw by, kind of. You know, he just throws him by, and they end up in that weird position where he's able to get his leg over, and you got to imagine 0-6 for Connor. Do you think we see Michael Chandler get the next two?
I would say no, just because it's Jason Knight. And being that I've watched Jason Knight fight quite a few times,
so
I would lean away from him. But I mean, at this point, dude.
are you aware of some Jason Knight's wins? I know in the UFC it's been a little bit, and he kind of had a little bit of a skid, but I want to explain that a little bit, just as a preview for next week here. So his first fight in the UFC was on the Holm versus Shevchenko card, UFC Fox 20. Jim Allers gets a win over Dan Hooker, unanimous decision. I don't think that was the most prettiest of like fights for him, but he was able to get a Dan Hooker out of there, right? Then gets Alex Caceres out. Alex, who's kind of having a little bit of a revival in his career just recently, gets a win over Chaz Skelly. Third round TKO. Then of course goes on his skid that kind of sent him out of the UFC, right? But a name that he lost to via split decision, by the way, it was Makan Mirkani. Not exactly living up to everyone's expectations, but still solid fighter. Jason Knight. So you're saying he can't pull it off? Why not?
Just, I don't know. Like, anytime I've seen him fight, it's just not impressive. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, I just don't really like him. And then it just could be the biting thing. I have it pulled up against Gabriel Benitez.
Is that what happened?
Swanson versus Ortega. Yeah, he was. I remember it. He was holding him kind of like a not full guillotine, but he had his head down there. He was trying for like a takedown of sorts. They were just kind of in it, and Jason Knight full on bit his fingers.
Oh my
And
god! Yeah, I'm looking at the image.
He was deducted the point for it, and he tried to claim that he was fish hooking me, so that's why it's like no, he wasn't. They showed it from multiple angles.
Damn.
Yeah. He full on bit him, and that could be another reason why I just dislike him, because he did that, and to this day he claims he tried to fish hook him, and that's why he bit him. He does not deny that he bit him.
Well, because it's obvious. There's a huge ass bite mark.
Yeah, because because like it could be the whole like Chandler claims that he didn't intentionally bite Poirier, but it's like he doesn't even know. He's like, yeah, I bit him because he was fish hooking me. It's like, no, he wasn't. Like, so that could be a reason. But every time I've seen him fight, it's just, I don't know, very lackluster for me. So I would lean in favor of who do we got him up against?
Landon Cantones.
Not going to lie, I do not know anything about Landon.
That's what I'm looking up for you right now. Because I don't know anything about this kid either. He's 7-1-1. He's had one draw in Bellator, and most of his fights have been in Titan FC. No names I would notice.
There's a lot of canceled bouts in a row.
Wonder what happened.
I mean, that's COVID central though, so maybe
was it 2002
or well the first
2020 and 2021,
November 2020, and then February 2021. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was knocking dudes out right before that. Got a unanimous decision. So he has
2 KOs after that too.
Yeah, I mean he's got some amateur fights with him. Looks like he's 3-3. So I mean, he's gonna be experienced. He's not coming in here, not knowing how to fucking do some wrestling, do some striking. He's gonna come in here and probably.
I mean, he's 27.
How old is Jason Knight?
I believe somewhere around late 30s. Oh, he's 30. What the hell?
So I mean, that's
about the
30
same age.
still 30 still your prime if you're hitting it at the right time. I mean, Jason Knight's he's 23-7, so 30 fights. I mean, that definitely adds to your age, in my opinion. Just that amount of fights, that amount of damage.
Yeah.
He also has a win over Thiago Moises in 2015 Atlas fights, Cage Rage 25. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like we're talking all this stuff, trying to hype it up, but it's like, honestly, I'm still feeling like the show in its whole is still boring me.
Well, let's talk about the moment that they seem to have thrown everywhere into all of their promotion, because it finally happened. And even as other people have put it, it just, I don't know. Conor got upset and decided to push Chandler in the face, and Chandler, I think, was either hyped up, didn't know what to do, but started yelling, saying woo, like woo.
And going woo, and then he's
I mean, I'm sure he's ready to fight. I'm sure they both are. Like if they're down to get down, like screw it. But obviously that wasn't gonna happen. Dana, let me get in there, move.
He sprinted.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not. Which is funny because they've had this moment for a while, right? Like, and they've kind of been advertising it. We have 2 more weeks of the first rounders. And then we're gonna start going, teammates versus teammates, right?
Yep. I mean, yeah, we got a Roosevelt Roberts, who seems to be the most like popular one of the cast that they use.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's in every like one of the house shots.
Okay.
And yeah, and then of course after everything happened, which it was funny because Connor at first was like, no disrespect to you guys, you know, talking just trash talking Chandler. Then all of a sudden Roosevelt Roberts just gets in the mix and starts insulting Connor with another one of the teammates that I wasn't sure who.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Connor is like, "You're all bums." Like, oh, I guess that goes out the window.
Yeah. It was Cody Gibson.
Mm.
Yeah, Cody Gibson and Roosevelt Roberts. Yeah, you're all bums. You also had Chandler though, who went up to Connor's team and was like, "I would have been there for you guys,"
Yeah.
And that's been a huge part of this series, hasn't it? It's been, man, it seems like Connor's kind of absent from some of this, but Connor did have his rebuttal. He was like, no, like in fact, I set them up with some of the best coaches in the world. Like, he's like, I argue, I'm leaving him in like better hands. Which, if he's not a good coach, he's gonna leave it up to the coaches. So, I understand that argument. I'm not gonna say it's right, because if he's saying he's the draw, well, dude, I mean, you got to be in the show then. You got to be making moments. McGregor knows this too.
Yeah.
He knows everything's defined by like clips and quotes now, and he knows what the UFC is looking for in terms of marketing.
Yep.
And I don't know how his fighters are thinking of him. They haven't really said anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're going to ask that question. Like, oh, what do you think of your coach? You know what I mean? I think once the show is done, we're going to see some opinions come out.
I mean, we had some super harsh opinions after the. I forgot who he did it with. Was it Eddie Alvarez and Justin Gaethje?
With what?
When they coached the Ultimate Fighter. I cannot remember who Eddie Alvarez was opposite of, but man, they tore Eddie Alvarez apart after that season.
Hmm.
I let me check this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the 115 women's. Let me see though.
But to go back, Connor wasn't even there for the weigh-ins again, right? Yep. Chandler asked the question, what message does that send to his team? What message does that send to his team, though?
I had this completely wrong. Oh, no. Haha, I did not. Yeah, this was when they were bringing in the 125 division.
Did you just not hear what I asked?
I did, but I also.
Oh my god! All right, go on, fucking jackass. What's up? What do you got?
Oh, that I was right. So Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje, when the 125 women's division was coming in, yeah, they were tearing Eddie Alvarez apart. Yeah, a lot of them were saying how horrible of a coach he was, and he just did absolutely nothing for them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, sometimes it's sometimes or mostly the case. The best athletes don't make the best coaches. It takes a very special mind to be a coach, and it takes a very special mind and body to be an athlete. And sometimes you can't be both. Maybe Chandler is really a good coach. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that today was an example of Chandler being a good coach. I think he's obviously helping his guys and he's teaching them things, but I mean, Kurt Hollabaugh, for what he did, was impressive, but pulled it out of his ass, like I said. And I'm glad this episode happened. I mean, it was a fun fight for me. I know you don't think the same. I thought it was an interesting fight. I thought that
it's not that it wasn't interesting. It's just like Lee Hammond gave me a weird feeling throughout the entire thing. That was it. I couldn't shake that weird feeling.
Well, I will let the comment section try to figure that out for you. If you disagree or agree with Steven Shred or myself, let us know in the comments. And as always, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, because as you know, YouTube hates anything else but doing that. So for Steven Shred and I, we are Sofa Kingz, and have a good one.
Yeah.